All right, we're live. What's happening? Let's see. Two things. One, on my last live video, I talked about how can you know if you can defend your family if you've never been punched in the face? And let me say, maybe I went a little too far. Got an email. I appreciate the email. I love people reaching out. I love that you're listening. Maybe I went a little too far. Maybe not. But I'd love more emails. I'd love more discussion about that. Or discuss it below on Facebook. For sure. So, maybe. But I'd love to discuss it more. I really would. And then, what I really want to talk about today is I got an email. Was it a text? Either way, if you need email, if you need help at rebelparenting.org goes right to me. And it was a man who's a pastor, and he said he's stuck because he's having a hard time doing ministry when he's in conflict, has unresolved conflict with his wife. And he's like, have you done a podcast on this? I can't find anything on it. Surely I can't be the only person that struggles with that. And I was like, what? Of course you're not. And I totally understand it, and I'm so glad somebody asked me that question and that I could address it and reach out, because that's part of life. If you're in ministry, or if you've got kids or anything and you have unresolved conflict with your spouse, it's hard to do those things. You know, you can feel like you're knocked off that pedestal, or like, oh, well, you know, what should I do, or what right do I have? I'm sorry. Our babysitter just texted me. Dun, dun, dun. Awesome. How can I lead a small group? How can we coach couples? How can I do a broadcast on marriage when I'm fighting with my wife? I've got unresolved conflict, and here we are at church, up in front of people, pretending like everything's fine when I know it's not, and now I'm a big fat hypocrite, and what should I do? Anybody been there? Me? No? Just me. Okay, good. I'm sure there's more people out there struggling with this. And that's exactly what Satan wants. He wants you to say, oh, you can't do any broadcasts on marriage if you're fighting with your wife, Ryan, Laura. You can't be in ministry if you don't have it all together. You can't be in ministry if your kids are screwing up. You can't be in ministry if you have a past. There's all these things that Satan wants to tell you, and the truth is the Lord looks at your heart. And I was trying to figure out how to talk to this guy, and I was reminded of a situation from my life. And there's an event I've been speaking at for, I don't know, over a decade. I speak at it every year, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And the person that puts the event on, that person I kind of got crossways, and they hurt my feelings. And I am a baby, and it hurt my feelings. What can I say? And I had been considering canceling the event and not doing it. I just thought, you know what? Who cares? My feelings were hurt. I didn't want to do it. That's why I was going to cancel the event. I just didn't want to do it. And as I was debating this, I felt the Lord say, why are you speaking there anyway? And it's because it's an event I used to go to, and it had a big impact on my life. And I just felt the Lord saying, oh, okay, so you're not going to allow the people attending to have the same opportunity because your feelings are hurt? Oh, okay, cool. I just want to know if that's really what was going on. And really called me on the carpet. And I was denying other people. And in a way, I feel like I'm putting myself on this pedestal, like, you know, every time I speak, your life's going to be changed. It's just, I was stopping my ministry because my feelings were hurt. And it was focused on me. And I thought, oh my goodness, how ridiculous. Of course not. And I'll continue speaking to that event as long as they'll have me. Because that's why I do what I do. I want to speak. I want to go talk to people about Jesus. I want to go change lives. I want to be transformational. That's what I want to do. My hurt feelings have nothing to do with that side of ministry. And that's where the perspective changed. For me, that's where it changed. And that's what I was encouraging this guy to do, and you all to do, is just change the perspective. Why are you in this? What are you really in this for? If it's for ministry, focus on the ministry. For sure, focus on the ministry. And this is what I told him too. Your spouse and you, your wife and you, your husband and you'll get back on the same page in time. You will. Or not. But why stop doing ministry because you're fighting? Like, that's not a good reason to stop. Now, if you are in, like in the middle of a divorce, maybe get some wise people around you and have a discussion. And The day-to-day squabbles, the day-to-day struggles, those things, don't let that stuff derail you, man. Don't let it derail you. Just point yourself in the right direction. This is what I said in the email back. What's up, Ron? What's up, Felicia? Point yourself in the right direction. Thank the Lord we get to be in ministry, and try to do the right thing. Try to give the right advice. That's what you got to do. That's it. I was talking to my mom about it yesterday, and she said, you've heard fake it till you make it? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, that's it. Just fake it. Like, it's okay. Don't lie. I'm not telling you to lie and say our marriage is perfect. Like, you'll never hear Laura and I say that. In fact, this person I wrote, I told him, when Laura and I started Rebel Parenting, like, I deleted our first recordings. We weren't doing anything with guests in the beginning. Laura had never been on the radio before. She'd never recorded broadcasts before. And so we did a bunch of, quote, like practice episodes together. And I'm not a great teacher. I'm really not. I'm not a good teacher. And we would get into fights and Laura would get mad. She walked out a couple of times. I deleted all those things. I remember thinking, oh my goodness, like, what are we going to do? And I said, you know, that happens to us now. Like every now and then we've got to sit next to each other and do a broadcast about marriage, and we've got to pull ourselves out of it. We got to take the personal side out of it, because it's not about Laura and I right this moment, right in that frame of time. It's about people listening. It's about the author. It's about the speaker. It's about the person that took their time to prepare and be on our broadcast, and we want to give them the best opportunity possible, because that's what we do for the listeners and the watchers out there. We're trying to put the best stuff forward. I mean, just the best, just the best tools for your toolbox. And I can't allow Laura and I squabbling to hinder that. And so that's my recommendation. You know, just point yourself in the right, and then be honest, man. You know, you're coaching a couple and they're going through hard times. Be like, yeah, no kidding. We go through hard times too. It's what you do. You go through hard times and you keep going. You just point yourself in the right direction. So, awesome. Appreciate it. Here's a quick one. Thank you so much for reaching out and emailing your struggle and your help. And by the way, when I wrote you back, thank you for saying thank you. That is one of the greatest gifts. Being thanked is so nice. I get to interview Kirk Cameron again tomorrow, and I'm such a huge fan that I get to brag on how great Kirk Cameron is to Kirk Cameron and all of you tomorrow on air, and that makes me super excited. Where is that box of movies? Man, his latest film that he put out, he sent us a whole box of them, and we're going to give, it's over in the corner. We're going to give a bunch of them away. But I dig Kirk Cameron. He has been trying to help the family and help people for decades and decades and decades, completely selfless. And I was telling my dad how excited I am to do that. And he goes, nobody does that. I'm like, I know. And he goes, nobody does it. No one goes, oh man, you know. And here's what we found out. It's no authors do it. No speakers do it. Regular people totally come to my dad like, you changed my life. You know, you totally saved my marriage. Or you helped me raise my kids. Anybody that goes on the radio, I'm totally telling tales out of school, I guess, but anybody that goes on the radio, it's almost never do they, are they like, oh my goodness, yeah, you really changed my ministry. Oh, that kind of thing. That never happened. So also saying thank you. And I appreciate it. The guy that wrote me back and said thank you, that really, it makes me, like I got 4 or 5 more emails today, and I wrote every single person back, largely in part of the gratitude you gave me. And so I want to also thank you for your gratitude. Awesome. Thanks, Rebels.